The ancient Egyptians believed that the Aten is the creator god. He appears in the sky as the sun disk.
He is the reason of the people to live, for the fish to live in the river, for the animal to live in the mountain. So we think that Aten is the source of the life for every person.
This city in a scorching hot desert is the perfect home for a sun god. But why does the pharaoh build him an entire city? A clue lies 5 miles away to the east, in Amarna's very own Valley of the Kings. Buried beneath tons of stone and rubble, a sloping shaft descends straight into the rock of the mountainside. In the deepest chamber lie elaborately carved fragments of an impressive stone sarcophagus. This is a tomb of high status, but there's no mummy inside, and severely damaged hieroglyphs on the surrounding walls hide all clues to the tomb's owner. But in the chambers beyond, one carving remains intact. Beneath an image of the Aten god himself are 2 figures, Akhenaten and a woman. What can these faded carvings reveal about the origins of this lost city? Anna ventures inside the tomb. Haunting images of the pharaoh cover almost every wall.
All Egyptian tombs are generally covered with images of the tomb owner. This figure here is very badly damaged, but it's Akhenaten. He's standing the closest to the sun god and the rays of the sun god.
A female figure stands next to the pharaoh in almost every image. Decoding the hieroglyphs here reveals that this is Akhenaten's wife, a queen called Nefertiti.
This cartouche gives the name of this figure. You can see the name of Nefertiti inside the cartouche. The beautiful lady has come.
So this figure standing close behind the king under the rays of the Aten is Nefertiti.
Exactly.
This tomb is highly unusual. Nefertiti is shown to be almost as powerful as her husband.
The key figure here is obviously Akhenaten. He's the largest figure, he's the one who's closest to the Aten, and he of course is the head of the family, he's the head of the city, and of course he's leading Egypt as well. But you can see also that Nefertiti is represented on really quite a large scale. She, like her husband Akhenaten, is semi-divine.
The burial chamber also depicts their children. The identity of one family member in particular is extraordinary.
What it seems to show is the death of Princess Mekhedaten in childbirth. What's also really interesting here is that we seem to have a depiction of the princess's baby. Some scholars suggest it's possibly Tutankhamun himself.
This might be the earliest depiction of the famous boy king. The tomb reveals that the abandoned city of Amarna is a family project.
Most pharaohs' tombs of the New Kingdom were cut just for the king himself. The royal tomb at Amarna is a little bit more unusual, so we think that not just Akhenaten was buried here, but one of the royal princesses. The king's mother might also have been buried here. And there's a really prominent suite of secondary chambers that look as though they were intended for Nefertiti's burial as queen.
Amarna is not just another city. It's supposed to be Egypt's new capital, the home of the royal family. But this tomb also hints at a troubled history. These chambers are never completed. Many of the carvings here appear to be deliberately damaged.
One figure that we know wasn't buried here was Tutankhamun. He was actually buried in the Valley of the Kings at Luxor. There's a question mark about whether Nefertiti might have been buried here. The suite of chambers that seems to have been cut for her is unfinished, so it's unlikely that her body was actually interred here.
Amarna is a vast puzzle. Why does the pharaoh move his family and Egypt's entire capital to the middle of nowhere? Only